Hello there. It is a cloudy, rainy day. So, I am going to get ready to go babysit a little while. I'm so excited. Good excuse to lay around and cuddle. What I'd like to talk about today, I was thinking about how once in a while I have someone call to make an appointment, and they are so emotional. You can tell they're in a great deal of pain, and I feel for that. So I will spend time with them on the phone for a little while, just to help console them and maybe coach them a little bit and encourage them to find someone else, because I usually don't have any openings. But I always return calls, which I guess a lot of counselors don't even return calls, let alone answer their phone. So anyway, there are clients who will call, and I've had several of them lately, which is interesting. You know, it's sort of like the same types of clients call at the same time. Very interesting how when it rains, it pours. So I have seen it before. It's not like it's odd. It's just interesting how things kind of go in phases. Anyway, they call and go down this long list of all the things that are wrong with them. Long list. Aches and pains, brain injuries, PTSD, a list of maybe other diagnoses that they're guessing at, or someone else has accused them of having. If you wonder what I'm doing, I am tweezing what my great-great-grandmother used to call goat hairs. She and I spent a lot of time together when I was little, one summer. Anyway, and it's interesting, some people will insist, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And they just want to vent about how much is wrong, very powerfully. Now, those people I don't usually get to coach at all. They just, if I won't sound very I'm not the type of person, because of everything I've been through and how I've worked through them with help of others, it's hard for me to think of someone else as broken. And if they have a mental disorder that I can't handle, after I've started seeing them, I refer them out so they can get a higher level of care. I'm not too proud. And I'm not hungry, so I don't have to keep people on my books that I can't help. Now, I've had some clients insist on staying with me longer than that I thought they needed to. But I've learned not to abandon clients I know I have a standing appointment with my therapist just because I like to stay on the books, just in case I need somebody, just in case I need her. How do I grow so much hair so fast? It's not thick, that's for sure, but it's a lot. So anyway, the point is, and then some clients, they really just need someone to vent to. Some people vent and they work themselves up, way up, and they don't want to come down because the adrenaline and the cortisol and whatever else is so rewarding and habitual that it's like a drug. And there's just, unless I can see them on a regular basis, it's hard to convince them that they are in control of some of that. Well, all of it, in my opinion, if you're at all in the normal range. I have a little blackhead that's trying to come up there. Huh, how about that? Come on, pup. Anyway, and then there are other clients who, they're so wonderful. They really make my day. They really do. I can talk to them for a few minutes, maybe make a referral to someone else that I might have on my list of referrals that I like and trust. And while we're talking, and they're running down this whole list of everything wrong with them, a light bulb will go off. Because I'll usually ask, some pretty easy questions that any of you would ask is, well, what's going right in your life? Give me that list. Woo, baby. And then you'll see this long list of wonderful things going on. And you might need to dig a little bit. But I think that's one of the things with people who get discouraged, is that their forgetter works really well. And they forget, for instance, as well, they'll think, oh, this is going wrong, or my girlfriend broke up with me, or I think I'm going to get fired from my job. But the deal is, they usually don't want that girlfriend or that job or boyfriend or whatever. Anyway, they just didn't want to be dumped first. So they get all worked up with these abandonment issues from childhood. And boy, they're ready to fight for that relationship, even if they have to go to court. It's like, wait a minute. And I always make it clear, because when I was younger, I thought going to court was exciting. I thought it was fun. Like, bring it on. I'll go. I'll dress up. But I don't like doing that anymore at all. So I have a document that I have people sign, whether it means anything legally or not. It's worked so far. Is if they want to sign up for counseling and they want someone to go to court with them, it's not something I want to do, and they probably won't like what I'd have to say anyway. And I'm willing to be sued if I say something wrong. I mean, I have insurance. And other than that, I don't have a moral issue with telling the truth if they're going to drag my ass into court. So, if you're here to sue your boss for putting you on probation because you don't show up for work, I'm not going to court for you because you have anxiety. And no. So my thing is, it really boils down to how committed are you to change? Because if you see all this stuff that's wrong, and then you do make a list of all the things that right, that are good and healthy, they have to somehow make a mathematical equation that works out that your life doesn't totally suck. And if you're stubborn and insist that your life still sucks, I call that ungrateful. And then that's what I start working on, is gratitude. I may have things that I'm not thrilled with my looks or my health or some of my career challenges or some of my relationship challenge or some of my friendships or the car I drive or what have you. But I'm so grateful for what I do have in my life that I can't stay down very long. I refuse to stay down very long. It's just not something I'm willing to do, is stay down very long. You know what? I'm going to use Wet and Wild today, just for fun. I haven't used this for a while. And I want to do something different. I have all this makeup and I don't want to waste it. It's not necessarily always my favorite, but sometimes I like to try something different. During the week, I like tried and true. I don't want to mess around. I don't want to have to correct things. Okay, so anyway, my point is, if you think your life is sad, messed up, someone's not living up to your expectations, or you want life to be easier, you don't want to have to work so hard, that is very often imprinted as a child. Because if healthy parents teach their kids how to navigate in this world from a young age, kids learn that you do have to work. You will be disappointed. Not everything's going to turn out the way you think it should, but it very often turns out fairly well at the end of the day. Huh. I forgot I like this, I guess. We'll see how it works throughout the day. Oh, I think I need some Botox. I'm getting some deep wrinkles. But I've been doing my facial massages very consistently. And so this 11, it used to be a 114, 114. If I didn't get Botox at least once a year. But it is actually a light 11. So I'm kind of happy with that. All right. Very rarely anymore, but once in a while, I have to write down a gratitude list about my home, each relationship I'm in, each relationship that's close to me or semi-close to me. If I get negative, I have to make that gratitude list on every chunk of my life so that I can remember who I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm here. It's important to stay centered. Those are things that, if we're not clear on, we can lose our equilibrium. I have some fairly deep pores and a makeup that I used just 2 days in a row were accentuating my pores. This is doing fairly well. I'm surprised. How about them apples? Yeah, I was really disappointed in this. Because it just seemed like it wanted to get in my pores, and you could see it. So I had to put on a big old layer of it to really fill it in and cover up. Ugh. And I do not think I'm going to wear powder. I kind of want to be fairly natural. Looking. So gratitude is key. So I was very happy that by the time I got done with these clients, I gave them some information on who they could call to try to see if they could make an appointment. And they sounded more stabilized and less hyper. And I really want to point out that it's human to lose track of who we are sometimes. It just is. We have to be reminded sometimes. Not everyone had a perfect upbringing. Even if it was fairly okay, you know, there are certain things that we as humans, we miss. We miss teaching kids certain things. And sometimes we do it with friends or our really close relationships. We do things that don't necessarily teach people how to treat us. You know, when you have a kid, you want to treat them, you want to teach them how to treat others and themselves. But when you're in a relationship with adults that aren't your kids, especially, or if they are your kids, you have to teach them what's important to you and how you must be treated or else, right? And you have to decide what the or else is, not me. One thing I've always said, even when I was working heavily in addictions, is that, you know, when that tough love movement came out, oh, I got some juicy information for you. Anyway, I've always said I don't believe in the tough love movement. I believe that sometimes you have to draw a line for you yourself if you're willing to know that if your loved one dies, you're going to be okay, because you know that if you continue loving them in a way that gives in and gives in and gives in, is it going to destroy you and your income and your health? Sometimes self-preservation will win out. Sometimes it has to. And I understand that, and I approve of it. Have I used it myself? Yes. And one of my beloved family members did end up dying from addiction. But I had spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of safety issues with that person. And I was dating someone that I really was attached to, and they had a young girl, and I just couldn't have that in and out of my home anymore. So there you go. I had to make a hard choice. I'd had a lifetime of dealing with the heartache, disappointment, and financial challenges that it cost me, and made a decision to start saying, If you're going to call me, you need to be sober. You're not sober, so I'm going to hang up now. I love you. Click. And I did that over and over and over until she quit calling. And then years later, I found out that she had passed away. And I had already processed my decision. It hurt me, yes. But I also knew I took years and years and years, decades, of financially supporting, emotionally supporting, logistically supporting recovery over and over again. And it was so much drama. I don't know if you've ever had an addict in your family, but it's a lot of drama sometimes. And I knew I wasn't willing to put my life at risk anymore. I just wasn't anymore. I'm sorry. But I do not think that everyone has to do that. I don't. Because if you're going to blame your counselor or the interventionalist or yourself or someone else for closing that person out of your life or setting up strong boundaries like I did, don't do it. It's not fair to anybody, especially you. So that's my take on it. Oh, and the juicy thing I was going to tell you is because I was in the business and I was shoulder high into it, I got to meet a lot of authors that focused on codependency and addiction and psychopathy. Suicidal ideation, a lot of deep trauma, things like that. I'm very fortunate. I've been in the right place at the right time so many times. It's just been incredible. I'm very grateful. Can you imagine that sometimes I get so down that I forget all of that? My life is so simple now. It's hard to believe that I used to be in the middle of so much activity. Yep. So, turns out that a lot of these authors who share or sometimes spew their opinions really, the hard word would be hypocrites. A kinder word would be they're idealistic and have too high of standards for even themselves to live up to. If you want to call it a high standard, I call it one option. Or, okay, that's an option too. I think I might put a wee bit of powder just right there where I'm the shiniest. Oh, look at it. It's getting in my deep wrinkles. I need some Botox. I'm getting some makeup settling in these big fat wrinkles. Maybe if I put a little powder there, it won't move around so much. We'll see. But it's not doing too bad around my eyes yet. I'll keep an eye on it. But you know what? That is Wet and Wild Dewy. Hey. Soft ivory. Okay, so sometimes we have to make tough choices, big decisions on how we're going to handle things. And sometimes the bottom line is we have to look at our own stuff, not someone else's. Sometimes it's about, are we looking at our life clearly and not being just tainted by emotions? Hey, we can have crazy town emotions sometimes, but we don't have to let it take over our life and change our life, right? We don't have to act out on what's whirling in our head and then make life-changing changes that we really aren't ready to process or go forward with. And that's why it's also very good, for instance, little things like threatening to quit a job, threatening to quit a relationship, threatening to stop letting your kid have money. If you're not ready to say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean, okay. And if you're really mad at somebody for not showing up well in your life, try making a gratitude list about them and see if maybe you're just being ungrateful. I mean, we don't know, do we? Do you know? You might be needing to do a relationship inventory and figure out if there might be something you can do to help the relationship run smoother. For me, it's usually shutting my damn mouth. That's for me, because sometimes I just talk way too much. I don't know. Sometimes it's easy as that, which is too bad, because I love to share my opinion or express myself. But with age, consequences and opportunities, I keep practicing. All right, I love y'all. Gotta go. So, go have a day. Bye for now.